Got the shift straight after lunch, if those have had it or not. I've only just had breakfast almost, it feels like. The morning has absolutely whizzed by. I hope it's similar for you. It's been really, really busy day, and it's fantastic to see so many happy, smiley faces, really keen and eager to get involved in this profession of aviation. I'm Andy McFarlane. I'm the Chief Exec at Leading Edge Aviation. If you have any questions for me, please just put your hand up, whatever, and I'll try and answer them as we go along. If there's anything you need, I might say I'll answer that in a minute, or come talk to me at the end, or back on the stand or whatever. I know we're limited on time that we've got in the house, so in the room. So let's see. What am I going to talk about? Well, it's not just about flight training, what I'm going to talk about. It's the whole pilot approach. Excellent, that's the first thing. Technology works for me. So what is the whole pilot approach? What's it about? We'll talk about it in detail. Why is it so important for you, for your future, your careers? Why? It's what the airlines judge you on day one for your interviews and every time you do check rides. So you might as well start right at the beginning, learning about it and adopting the competencies as we go through. It is absolutely vital to your career, and it doesn't matter which airline you go to. This is within reason what they look at you for. So how does it work in practice? I'll go through that a little bit. Our successes, so how many people we've put into airlines within rough figures as we're going on, because it's changing every day, and then a little bit of a summary at the end. I say questions, happy to take them throughout or at the end. It doesn't really matter where we go. As you can see throughout, happy smiley faces of our graduates at different airlines, and that's the picture, or those are the pictures we love to receive back from them, saying, just done it, especially after it's done their base flying. So the first time they've flown the jet properly, or the first time they've flown with passengers on board. It's really, really nice to see. So when I say it's beyond flight training, it's not just about flying an aeroplane. And at Leading Edge Aviation, we try to do all the other things, put you, the student, at the heart of what we do. I'll hold my hand up now. It doesn't always work, but it is the drive for that. So we've baked into the course, into our integrated course, a BSc degree. It's no extra cost, it's in the course. Why? Because you learn about what a low-cost carrier is compared to a flag carrier. What does an ultra-low-cost carrier do? How does your airline work compared to the others? How does a fuel policy work? So you understand aviation as a whole, not just flying an aeroplane. It's really important also because, for example, Wizz Air, you cannot get a job in management in Wizz Air without a degree. An awful lot of our people come at the age of 18, so we put the degree program in straight away, so it allows you to expand and keep your career going without having to go to university and then do your pilot training. We do student assessment for all our students coming in, and for the integrated course, you pass student assessment, you get a training degree, meaning that if you have issues with your ability later on, maybe you need an extra flight, so we pay for it. Because we've assessed that your ability is good enough to be a pilot, and if you're not getting there, that's our fault. We failed to train you properly, so we pay for it. We do monitor how much effort you're putting in, and we will call you up on it if it's the effort that's involved, and we'll work with you. So it's not a free ride, any mind. You've got to work hard at it, but if it's down to a lack of ability, it's our fault. Graduate services at the end, working and polishing you, getting you ready, doing that interview technique, your CV writing, your team, all done right at the end of your training with current airline recruiters, ready to get you ready for the airline to go on. Transparent pricing, there's one price as we go forward, and you'll see in our brochures, if you pick them up on the stand, what that's about. Accommodation throughout. Why do we provide accommodation? Because I want my students learning or relaxing. I don't want them worrying about where they're going to live. I don't want them worrying about the landlord's changed his mind and wants to move them out or anything like that. That's not your problem, it's my problem. So we've got student accommodation, for example, the ARC, where all our students in the latter flying phase are. It's the whole block's hours, car parks hours. It's well lit, it's secure. So as parents, loved ones, partners, you know that your loved one is looked after. We know they're secure and safe. So it's really important to us. And they do the same in Spain. It's in a gated community for when you're flying out in Spain. So 2 people in an apartment works really, really well. And the other bits are student voice, immersive environment, and right at the bottom, ultimately, a graduation to celebrate success, which to us is really, really important at the end of the journey. And we have our next graduation in May, with probably about 300 people attending, which is a marvellous evening. So, what makes a good pilot? ICAO talked to or asked current airline pilots around the world what they thought makes a good pilot. So now it's your turn. What do you think are some of the attributes that will make a good airline pilot? Motivation, okay.
Passion.
Sorry? Passion, yeah.
Leadership.
Yeah. Communicate, brilliant.
Perseverance.
Excellent things. So, some of the things you've said and some more. Interesting, listens well. Can assimilate that information. Assertive. At times you absolutely have to be. You hear about the times when every now and then an airline has to divert because they've got unruly passengers on board. Team player, absolutely vital of being a team player. The leader of that team, though, and I think it surprised an awful lot of people that as a first officer, you're number 2 on that aeroplane. If something happens to the captain, it's yours. You've got to be able to lead as well as you go on. Now, it doesn't happen very often that something happens to the captain, so don't get even worried about it. But it's there. And I was talking to somebody the other day who said they did the command course and changed seats, and they suddenly realised, they looking to the left and going, no, there's nobody there to talk to and ask for, it's all mine now. Yes, I've got my first officer, but I have to make decisions. It's mine. And you think it's not just the 2 of you, it's your crew and all of those passengers down the back. Plus officers everywhere on the ground, but once you're airborne, it's all yours. So definitely need a open-minded, yeah. Got to think about what's going on, and the approachable. Isn't it much nicer when you've got somebody, you might be delayed, and they actually come out of the cockpit and stand there and talk to you and say, I'm really sorry we're delayed for whatever reason. But they're there, they're a human, and they're showing it. So it's really good. Yes, it is about flying as well. So just give you a snapshot of what our results are at the moment. So over the last year or so, our ground school marks, 90% of our students pass first time round with a 90% average. Pass mark is 75%. The airlines, most of them are sitting at 85% as accepting. So we've got it at 90 at the moment. I've told the ground school it's not good enough, and they're working on it. But really, really good results. It's not that we're pushing people beyond their limits. They can deliver. So it's good to go and do. CPL, which is probably, the commercial pilot's license, is probably the hardest flying test anyone ever does. Sitting there at 97%. First series is what the airlines are mainly asking for. A 99% at the multi-engine instrument rating. Pretty good again. And then down to the APS MCC. I won't ask anyone. Airline Pilot Standard Multi-Crew Cooperation. It's the bit in the jet sim right at the end. There used to be the jet orientation or the multi-crew cooperation, which were you pay, you pitch up, you do some hours in a sim, and you walk away. Now, you get assessed all the way through. And you get assessed, you may have guessed it, by the competencies. And at the end, you get a certificate to say what your pass mark is. So we've got a 99.2% pass rate on that. Not because our bar's low, but because our students work really hard and are trained really well by current airline instructors. Most of them are. We've got 3 permanent staff who are ex-airline captains, but the rest of them are all airline operators. So I talked about competencies, and EASA and the UK have 9 competencies. You may say, so what? What is surprising to me, or has anybody noticed a link on them? It's only the bottom 2 that are anything to do really with flying an aeroplane. So you've got down the bottom, aircraft management, automation, aircraft management, management control. So flying the airplane with your hands, flying it on the autopilot. Every flight school out there does the bottom 2. Not every flight school does the other 7, the soft skills. We do, because that is what the airlines evaluate you on. It's absolutely vital. And we can go into detail of what they all are, but lots of soft skills. So we look at you in our assessment at the beginning, and then we work with you through ground school, and then we carry on towards the end in flight training and then into graduate services, all to make sure that these soft skills are there and you have examples of them ready for your interview and your team event. So, why is it important? Well, it is absolutely essential to be successful. Good team player and there, problem solver, communicator, and soft skills. Your personal contributions, your personal attributes. Everybody's got them to some level or another. We just need to help bring them out of the individual and get you ready for the airline. And that's the most important thing. It ensures that you are ready and equipped to go and get that first interview, but then every single assessment you go and do, every 6 months you're in the simulator, these are the competencies you get assessed on. And airlines may have 8, they may have 11, but they're all based around these same core competencies. They call them slightly different things, and you'll get used to it with whichever airline you go to, but overall, they're the same thing. So we start right at the beginning. In your assessment, the skills assessment, looking at non-technical skills. How well do you deal with each other? I don't know, if you know, we did some work today, and external instructor came in and said, do you realise that 58% of your communication is body language? And 37% is how you say it. So it's a teeny little bit about what you say is important. The only problem is, of course, when you're a captain or a first officer, most of the time you're communicating, it's actually just by voice. So suddenly swings, and I believe it was 70% is in tone. So if you've got a good, confident tone going down about in the aeroplane, people will be confident in there, rather than, whoo, not know what's going on here. It's the last thing we want going on. But it's to give you that confidence to do it. So there's lots of things we do throughout your training, such as the KSAs, which I'll talk a second about, which are preparing you for being ready to address the rest of the crew in your crew brief, or all your passengers, or whatever's required, or deal with an emergency. So knowledge, skills and attitude. It came in the 2020 revision of the syllabus, which actually came in 2022 because aviation likes to be awkward. And it was a change to say we should be looking differently about how we address the soft skills. So the knowledge is what do you know about a subject. The skills is how you actually use that knowledge to deliver something. And then your attitude is your mental ability to cope and make the right decisions as you go along. So again, we do this in ground school. One of them is a KSA flight. That's why we have the DA40 there. We actually take you up and we put pressure on you to answer questions and deal with the situation whilst in an airborne environment. And it's early on in your training. We've not put too much pressure on you, but cope with you. We are working with an airline manufacturer to develop this further in classroom scenarios and working how do we change the situation to make it more relevant to an airline environment. So maybe you're working on a trip and you're flying out to somewhere in Europe and you've got a fuel issue. And as a group, you're then discussing, do we continue? And you'll have so many minimas or so much fuel left at the end, or do we divert and what are the implications of that? Where do you divert? All of the sort of things as a team problem solving. So it's taking the knowledge you've got and adapting it with your skills and then the attitude to make the right decisions ultimately. But all based around those core competencies. I'm not expecting you to read the slide. But it's the 9 blocks are the 9 competencies. And then all the little words in there are how they are scored when our students are doing their APS MCC check ride. So all of the trips to do the 40 hours in the simulator, every one of them is monitored and debriefed on them. And then at the end, they're given a score on their last check ride. Say 99.2% pass rate on that, which is superb. Graduate services, to right at the end, we have a 3-day course run by a current senior first officer from an airline that's in the far corner of the main room. He comes in and works with us, and along with other airline pilots, and we go more and more about a teams event. So again, leaderless. You're given a problem to solve. How do you solve it? What's your problem solving ability, but what's your leadership? What's your teamwork in there? And we point out people some of the bad habits they've got. Do they come in and they're standing to one side? Are they too aggressive, too assertive in it? So rein that back in a bit because that's not good. Obviously, they're just natural habits of people, but let's just think about it. Do you do certain things when you are nervous? As long as you're conscious of them, then you can work on them. But it's just helping you on that. Again, first impressions. You have one chance. So make sure you are dressed correctly when you go to that airline interview. Make sure what you're saying doesn't sound too cocky or too scared. Be confident in your ability and your knowledge as you go in. And we do CV workshops. We do lots of cover letter writing. It wasn't pre-pandemic. Most airlines wanted you to do absolutely standard CV. So each school had their own version of a CV. For some reason, it's all changed post-COVID, and everybody wants to know about you as an individual far more. So all of these competencies are coming out far more than they ever used to 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's really developing, really changing, and that's why we bring it in right at the beginning of the training. So the interview and the group exercise in there. And we do this generically. And then, as and when we have a group of people going to an airline, such as EasyJet, Wizz Air, BA, wherever, we can do an absolute tailored one for that airline. So we get people come in, some of them will have, they'll be having to go and sit in the A320 and do a sim assessment, so we get them into the simulator, do a profile, do a airline X interview style questions in there, and get them ready for that. And the great thing is, they're done by current airline recruiters, and we had one group went up and they went, oh, the person that did the practice interview is now actually the person interviewing me. And they went, oh, I can relax. Because that's what it should be. An interview is a two-way negotiation anyway, but it's really nice to have it. For example, the BA, so 3 of the BA assessors, the mentors that come in, the 3 captains, they're in our school on Thursday, and they come in every single month, and they're there to talk to any of our students that want to go and see them, have a chat with them. That can be people that are tagged. So we currently have just shy of 40 students tagged to go to BA who are in training, and we are gaining more all the time. They're going through any student that wants to apply. Next month, the team's going out to Spain to do the assessment for our students who are currently studying in Spain as well, so no one's missing out. And we're shortly getting the first group of students to arrive with us who have done the assessment for BA and for us prior to joining, so they've got a conditional job offer even before they've stepped into the academy to start ground school. So lots of opportunities, all assessed this way through the competencies. Nice picture. What it is, teach you how to collaborate, work together. Most of you already got it. We polish it a bit more. You've got the information, what a CV should look like, but what are the competencies, how they work, how you develop them and show that you understand them and demonstrate as we go along. So you've got the practical support there with the team in-house and also the graduate services team. We build your skills to ultimately, most important thing, airline success. Before you comment, I know it's got 4 engines, but it's the only one I could find that was pretty, rather than 2 engines. And the vast majority of aircraft out there now have got 2 engines. But the airline success is incredible. So about 18 months ago, it was 9 months plus between graduating and getting a job offer. In the autumn, it was 71 days. This year, it's 2 weeks between graduating and a job offer. I was talking to an airline yesterday about the next 3 rounds of recruitment that they've got lined up for us, 24 at a time. The problem I've got is I am running out of graduates, which is a brilliant problem. Absolutely brilliant problem. Our whole pool virtually does not exist anymore. Now, this wasn't the story a couple of years ago, towards the tail end of COVID, but it really is a fantastic time. And all the airlines we're talking to are saying this is going on for at least 5 years, and that's pretty much as far as they project on it. Their recruitment is incredible. So a brilliant opportunity out there. The airline world has never, ever seen recruitment like this before. It is just madness, but fantastic. Great opportunities to get into an airline and to get up the seniority levels as quickly as possible to secure your place in the airline. So we've got 2 main routes. The BA one I've talked a little bit about, and Titan. Does anybody know about Titan Airlines? Okay, a couple. Doesn't surprise me. You can book a ticket on Titan if you want to. You just have to book the whole aeroplane. Not many people do that. We've got a brilliant relationship with Titan, so we just put 3 graduates there, and we'll be doing that sort of number every single year. They're a very small operation. You may fly on them because they backfill for British Airways, for EasyJet, for Wizz, for lots of people who an airline's gone in and it's broken. So they've got an aircraft sitting at Stansted, 30 minutes standby. They've also got one at Gatwick. And they can just, crew, boom, here we are, off we go. And they just fill in. They also have an aeroplane that flies the royal family and government officials. So when they came in some months ago to the academy and were chatting with our students, the day before they'd flown the Prime Minister to Washington, and the week before they'd flown the King and Queen to Paris, I think it was. So that's a bit of a change. Or you fly football teams, or you fly bands. And they have 2 aeroplanes, 2 320s, that just fly around the world. One works for a holiday company, one works for something else, and the crew go around the world. It's about a 3-week trip. I was about to say jolly, I meant trip. Going around the world, going to really interesting places, and operate to all these different places because that's where the passengers need to go for their holiday excursions or whatever they're doing. That is so varied, it's incredible. So it's only a few numbers, but we've got to tie up with them. And it's really, really such varied flying. It's fantastic. If you get the chance, that's where I would go. Others will be announced in the not too distant future. Up until about June last year, and June was a bit slow, but up until June, everything was very, very slow in the market. So there wasn't much recruitment. That's life. Suddenly, the world changed. So this is representing students' placement. It did go a bit wild. And then it carried on. And this was up to date at the beginning of March. I haven't changed it since then. And literally in the last 2 days, we've been in talks with 2 other airlines about their placements. There's lots and lots of recruitment going. I think it's 22 airlines, plus others. We were approached by a company who work with government agencies monitoring things going on in the Mediterranean, things going on in the Channel, and they're looking for graduates from us to go and fly airplanes, often at low level, lots of hands flying, and doing some interesting flying around the world, doing lots of monitoring, and they're recruiting directly from us. In fact, there are 2 companies doing that at the moment. Really totally varied flying, but that really, really fits in with what some people like to go and do rather than fly for an airline. And you can do that for a few years and then go to the airline. It depends what you would like to do. It all comes down to this, the degree programme, the graduate services, all the rest of it, things that we've added in on purpose to make sure you are the all-round pilot, the whole pilot, the potential captain that the airlines want to recruit, not somebody with a licence. The days of just having a licence and pitching up and getting a job are really pretty much gone. Yes, there are places you can get jobs that way, but if you really want to go to an airline or some of the other places that we put people to, you need to make sure you've got it all. Why wait to the end of your training and struggle to do it when you can do it right from the beginning, and we work with you to be able to achieve it? Again, some more of our graduates. The 3 young ladies, that's actually, for all 3 of them, that's their 2nd job. So they graduated, all 3 of them went to Ryanair, got their 500 hours, unlocked to become a direct entry pilot, as it's called, and now we're all flying for British Airways. In fact, it was really, really nice. The other day, our Chief Operations Officer got on an aeroplane, and it was one of the young ladies which was flying him. And it's really nice. I flew on one trip just before Christmas with our very first graduate, and that was so nice to go and see me. His name, yeah. In fact, I was in the airport and I got a text from him saying, "Andy, apparently I'm flying you." Even better, he said, "I've moved your seats." That was lovely. I like that. I really, really like that. Obviously, it's not mandatory, but if anyone can upgrade me, that's fantastic. Yeah, we honestly believe that the whole pilot approach, making sure you've got all of the right attributes, not just the ability to fly an aeroplane, gets you ready to become that captain of the future. So that all-round first officer ready to go to an airline. So come and visit the stand, book on open day, come and see us. We are actually doing, on our next one open day, our May open day, we're trialling it, that you can do an open day and an assessment all in one go. So you don't have to travel to us twice, you can just give it a go. We'll see how it goes. I think we've opened 20 slots on it. Also, we're asking people, would they be interested, if they come to a Pilot Careers Live, doing assessment on the day or the day after, the day before, so you don't have to travel so often. We're conscious of cost everywhere, and I know pilot training is very expensive, but anywhere we can help save cost, we're looking to do that as well. So it's just options on there. I believe there is a competition for an A320 simulator ride. If you're lucky, you might just meet with the senior, he's the pilot recruitment lead from Wizz Air, who's been on the stand. I'm not sure how long Annie can stay. All the BA guys that are on the stand as well, and talk to them about why they're choosing us to recruit cadets from. Open to questions.
Where are you based?
We're based at Oxford is our headquarters, and then we go out to Spain, Alhama de Murcia, which is halfway between Almeria and Alicante, for the fair weather flying up to 6 months as we go forward. Yeah.
What's the name of the degree they get? It says BSc, but what's...
Yeah, I knew someone would ask that. Our degree is Airline Transport Management with Pilot Training. I think there's 2 degrees. One's done directly by the university, and the wording's the opposite way around, and I can never remember which one it is. But it's with Buxton University. So you do the degree as you study with us. They've basically accredited ground school as year 1 of the degree. And year 2 of the degree is extra studies that are done with us. So the only time you go to the university is with your cap and gown. Everything else is done through us. The great thing about the degree, apart from the fact you've got a degree in a relevant subject to your going to the airline, is it unlocks student funding. So the student funding, you apply with us to the university. It goes from the government to the university to us. We give you a credit note. So it knocks 18,500 off the top of my head off your training. Yes, you have to repay it. When starting salaries now are bottom end, mid-40s, lots of them are in the 50s, and a few airlines are now announcing new deals, then it's going up there very quickly. So you can pay those loans back very quickly. And if you are eligible, you can also get maintenance at the same time. But there's no extra cost for the degree. It's part of training. Everyone on the integrated course does that.
So are there 2 courses, one with the university and one direct with you?
So there's one directly with us, yeah, and there's the university. You can go to Bucks, or you can go to the University of Western London, and they do like a sandwich course. So they go into university for a year, they come to us to do ground school and some flying, depending on which university. Some of them do all of the flying then, and then back to university for 1 year. Others go back, and then come back to us again. So pretty much you can do 3 to 4 years with the university and get pretty much the same qualification you get with us with 18 months. The only difference is there's a full honours degree, as is an ordinary level degree. There's a module you can add on later to make it honours, and there's another one you can add on to make it a master's. Yep, post-training with us. Yes?
If you already have a degree, then do you have to, is it mandatory as part of the LEAP programme?
If you already have a degree, it's part of the LEAP programme, so a leading edge airline preparation. If you have a degree that is equivalent to, as in it's very similar in airline management, then no, nobody yet has opted out of that. So if you have a biology degree, absolutely you carry on with it. Because it's part of the study, and it helps everybody get together, everybody in the class talking about the degree, whatever the subject is. It enhances the learning environment for everybody and the whole experience. And does it cost you no more? You just don't get the student loan again, unfortunately. Anything else? Yes.
In terms of getting onto the course, I'm assuming as part of the assessment centre you look at 9 competencies. Can you answer that right?
Yeah, so assessment, you come to us. There's some online tests, which are CATI, which is one of the standards out there. You'll also do an interview, and you'll do a team event. And we are measuring you against those standards, those competencies in there. And other things, obviously, in there. But it looks at teamwork and leadership and everything else. Yeah. Yes.
Hi, Andy. What's your age criteria on students?
So you have to be 18 to start. So the youngest person who ever started was 18 on the day she started, and the oldest person was 59. The vast majority are 18 to 24. We then get a group of people who are late 20s into mid to late 30s as career changers. But we do get people like that. The gentleman here mentioned Paul, who's on our stand at the moment. He was 40 when he started with us as a career changer.
Are there any challenges in getting a young pilot placed in an airline company as compared to a 35-plus-year-old getting placed in an airline pilot?
There are the same challenges.
Is there a bias?
No, legally they're not allowed to have a bias on age in any way, shape or form. And to be honest with you, an awful lot of airlines prefer a younger person because they can mould them to their way of operating, what they're doing. Okay?
But you mean to say that there are lesser chances for an older pilot to get placed?
No, they're not lesser chances, but a lot of airlines like the young person, but also you get a slightly more mature person. That shows maturity, that shows experience in life, and we're placing people sometimes from business jets as well. Good opportunity there. Even though they're relatively inexperienced, then the passengers feel more confident because you've got a more mature person on the flight deck. There is no difference though. All the airlines recruit on your merit, and that's by law on it. And I know there was a question asked for one of the other presentations last time round, and it was about, can they discriminate? Ooh, no, there's no age discrimination at all. It is illegal. Yes?
How many students are accepted into the program?
So students-wise, we range primarily between 16 and 20 on a course every single month. For example, though, next month is 12 because we know it's always a low recruitment month when you go into May. It's just cyclical on it all. We know September will be stupidly busy. We're almost full in September. And we're doing a double course. And we're looking at a double course in October. And just about every flight school across Europe does a double course in September and October. And what happens? All those students graduate at roughly the same time, all fighting for the same jobs. So that's why we say to people, why not start in August or July? You've had a couple of months after your A-levels, your degree, or whatever. If you start earlier, you're ahead of the curve. Yes, sorry.
In regards to accommodation, is that to do with the price, or is that an additional cost?
All our accommodation is in the price. We have one price. We have one add-on if you're on the integrated course, and that's whether you want to do a dual license. You want a UK license and an EASA license, which opens up all airlines across Europe for you. For those people who are fortunate to have the option of a UK and then a European passport and go the dual pilot's license route, you are snapped up. EasyJet ask us first, have you got dual license, dual nationality? We'd say dual license, I don't care if they've got dual nationality or not, we'll get them a visa. But dual license people are really, really good, especially for the low-cost carriers. Yeah, obviously, British Airways, not worried. But there is one price. There's no add-ons apart from the dual license on our training. That's why we try to be as transparent as possible. You don't get caught out. Anything else? I'll do one more.
So it's not mandatory to have only the British passport to go into this program?
No, at the moment, to train in the UK, we need to have the right to live and work in the UK. From September, we'll also be doing the ground school and all the flight training in Spain, so we're adding to our facilities out there. So we'll be able to take anybody from right across Europe into our training establishment.
Like, for example, myself, I've got only the travel document. So, is it okay or not?
I'd have to check with the team. I don't know the answer, but certainly from September that wouldn't be a problem. You could have a visa in Spain to do the training, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to run ground school and everything else. We're going to mirror what we do in the UK.
But to do this Spain, I don't need a visa if I've got the travel document, the UK travel document. I don't need the visa.
It's fine then. Yeah, so you could do your training in Spain with us from September. Okay. Yes, so.
Does your costs include the Class 1 medical?
No, it doesn't include the Class 1, so anyone needs to arrive to us with a Class 1 medical. If you're doing two Class 1 medicals, if you are going to do the dual route and you haven't got a Class 1 yet, I seriously suggest you go to one of the providers that can do dual medicals, because what they do is they charge you for one full Class 1 and then an admin fee for the other, and of course they renew on the same date. It makes life much easier. So you're Class 1, and you also need to arrive with us with a criminal records check, which is absolutely mandatory to get an airside pass, and all our students have airside passes. To get one at Oxford is just the same as to get one here or Gatwick or whatever. It's the same requirements. Okay.
To start flight training at 18, I still have a bit of age. Can you apply when you're 17? Do you have to start the application process?
No, you can start the application process when you're 17. You just have to start in with us because you're living in our accommodation once you're 18. Okay. I'll do one more and then we can break some. Yeah, we're on time.
How long does the skill assessment last?
Skill assessment lasts for 1 year, give or take. If somebody's doing it next week and wants to start in June, then that wouldn't be June next year, then that wouldn't be a problem. But overall, it's a year from taking skills. If you wanted to do 16 months, then no, we wouldn't allow that. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you for your time. Come and see us on stand or come and see me at the front. I can answer any personal questions. Thank you.